she opened her mouth, I found myself thinking, damn, this girl is an airhead. These weren't let's hang out and talk hours. These were backshot hours. Like the Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this bitch.
It's an evil world we live in. But hey, I'm gonna keep living.
There are a lot of things that hurt me. Ooh, big words. Let's simplify that. There are a lot of things that annoy me, and entitled people are one of them. And in my experience, it is usually worse among women, especially the more attractive ones. Now, I normally try not to get involved with entitled people any more than necessary, but I've had some pretty crazy interactions with them, and I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't think they were story worthy. So let me tell you guys a story. In my first year at the University of Benin, I met this girl we'll call Nessa, and Nessa was very attractive. I'm talking pretty face, smooth brown skin, a nice physique, and thick thighs. She also had a deep voice, which I thought was really cool. It was weird to a lot of guys, but as far as I was concerned, that was one of her most unique qualities. Plus, my thirsty ass just really wanted her to crush me with those thighs, bro. Anyway, Nessa was attractive, but there was a problem. Two, actually. The first was that this girl might have been a bimbo. Now, I'm not necessarily calling her a dumb, but most of the time I was around her and she opened her mouth, I found myself thinking, damn, this girl is an airhead. The second problem was that she had a boyfriend. So for the most part, our interactions were just surface level. Fast forward to year 2, she'd just broken up with her boyfriend, and I was also just out of a shitty relationship. So I was single and ready to mingle. Bro, nobody says that in 2025. Well, I just did. So fuck you. Anyway, Nessa and I began talking and hanging out more. We were sort of getting close and things were going great. A few weeks passed and school authorities made an announcement that they would be shutting down for about a month because they were hosting a sports festival and they were accommodating the athletes in the school dorms, which meant that students staying on campus had to go home with all of their stuff. I wasn't really affected by this because one, I stayed off campus with fellow animator Saint Papi at the time. Fun fact, he taught me how to draw. Plus, I'd also just paid for an apartment in the same building, but I hadn't moved in yet because I wanted to do some work on the place. And two, I lived in the next state. The trip home was going to take me no more than 2 to 4 hours on the road at the time. So when I heard the announcement, I wasn't really bothered. But for Nessa, it was a different story. She stayed in the school dorms and her parents lived far away. So the trip home, especially with all of her stuff, would have been very stressful. So when she told me she was looking for a place to stay and put her stuff, I offered the place I just paid for since I knew I wasn't going to move in until after the festival. A few days later though, she introduced me to 2 of her roommates who also needed a place, and they were pretty chill, so I was like, as long as they didn't break anything and they kept the place clean, they could stay. So school closed, they moved in, and for a while we were all just chopping it up as neighbors. I eventually shot my shot at Nessa, but she said she wasn't looking to get involved with anybody at the time since she'd just gotten out of a relationship and wasn't fully healed yet. And I was like, okay, that's cool, and life went on as usual. Then one night I'm home alone and she texts me, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, just watching Netflix. Then she was like, okay, I'm coming over. Now, I don't remember what the time was, but it was pretty late. These weren't let's hang out and talk hours. These were backshot hours. But since she said she didn't want anything with anyone at the time, I didn't really think much of it. I figured that her friends were probably asleep and she was awake and just bored. She came over and we were on the bed watching Netflix. At first, there was a little space between us because, I was trying to respect boundaries. But somehow, we ended up really close to each other and her body was pressed up against mine. And like I said earlier, this girl had thick thighs. And I fell, bro. I fell. That's like a straight man's weakness, bro. Thick thighs. I moved in for a kiss, she kissed me back, and we started making out. Then clothes started coming off, and just as things were about to get spicy, she stopped and she was like, this shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry. Then she put her clothes back on and left. I was confused, but I didn't really care. I was like, okay. Then I went back to watching Netflix. A few days later, I went home and it was during my time at home that I got into a relationship with Kiki from the Fumbling a Baddie Almost Killed Me video. Be sure to go check that out for the full story. Anyway, a few weeks passed and Nessa and I didn't really talk much. I was hyper focused on my new girlfriend. Some more time went by and it was finally time for school to reopen. But I stayed home a little longer just to give Nessa and her friends a little extra time to move back to their dorm because as soon as I got back to school, I wanted to move into the apartment. Then like 2 days before I was supposed to return to Benin, I texted her to know if she'd moved and where she was going to leave the key. Then Shorty was like, oh, we haven't moved yet. Can't you wait a little longer? I couldn't wait a little longer. Told her when I'd be back and that she had to move out, especially since I had a girlfriend now. She simply said, okay. And the conversation ended there. 2 days later, I'm on a bus to Benin City when I text her again asking where she kept the key. Then she was like, they still hadn't left my place and they weren't ready to. Then I was like, but I'm already on my way. And this girl had the guts to open my text, bring up her keyboard, type out the message, go back, and hit send. Like the Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this bitch. I saw the text and it pissed me off. So I was like, yo, it's been over a week since school reopened and I gave you guys extra time to move. I paid rent for that place and I haven't spent a night there. So if you guys are not gone by the time I get there, I'm kicking you out myself or something like that. Then I went offline. By the time I got to my apartment, they were gone, bro. It was like they were never even there. And just to be petty, I texted her, nice doing business with you. And she was like, okay. Then I blocked her. Time would go by and I wouldn't really see or talk to her, but since we had a couple of mutual friends, we would see each other around school every now and again and I would eventually unblock her. But we never really talked after that. Hi, I know I've been like an absent father to my channel, a deadbeat dad. I could go on and I could start giving excuses. Actually, I've just really been on the road, been caught up with trying to get my like college stuff sorted out. Like I'm done. I don't have any exams or anything left to write. I just need to actually get like my degree. There's registrations and a bunch of stuff that I'm supposed to do to like be finally clear and free from school. I've been trying to sort that. Then I've been on the road a lot. I've been doing a lot of traveling. Had to see my sisters, a bunch of other stuff. So plus there's work that I do. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to be more consistent with this once I can get all of those out of the way, but I'm definitely going to try to work on my consistency. Hold me to that. And yeah, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, go follow my socials. I'm on Instagram and TikTok as Stello.exe as well. You can also send me a DM, send text. I'll respond to those as well too. I think I'm friendly or nice or something. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I love you guys.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.